Hi, welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, episode 177, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast from Affable Idiots. I am Holden Christopher Adams DePardo. I am here with the always sexy co-host.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say a name for me. Hi, I'm Chad Michaelis. Hey, what's up, girl? Your mama let you date?
Super sexy. Timing could use some work, but he's still very sexy, and that's all that matters. We also have a special guest with us that it's been so long since we last saw you. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us all the fun stuff you're doing?
Yes, hello. Hi, I'm Dustin Hill. Dust E Hill. Dustin letter E Hill. Dustin Excited Hill. Only for today. I run Shouting in Place, which is a podcast that lets you shout into the void and know nothing will shout back, which the long short is I get super awesome people on every week. And we just talk about, it's usually what we've been doing during quarantine. On a lot of stuff is just like things that have been helping us let the time pass in this crazy butt show of a world right now.
Butt show.
And yeah, and including these two awesome people, I'm pointing in the directions where they are on my screen, have both been on different times. You should go listen to them. They're very good episodes. But yeah, also with that, I run fundraisers through the podcast, which I've done one for myself for Doctors Without Borders last month, which was August. Yes, August was last month. I did a difficulty class with Trevor Bettis and Ali Deitzman. Deitzman? I'm sorry, I always mess up your name, Ali. Anyways, fantastic people. We did it for Color of Change and Black Table Artists, or Black Table Arts. I think that's how it is. Two awesome foundations. And this month, we're doing it with Respawn Aim Fire. We are raising money for Extra Life, which is a super awesome foundation. If you haven't heard of it, we're doing it with some super sexy shirts that Chad designed, which is the logo and some like nice lettering. You could get it in many different colors. Header, Radiant Orchid, right my favorite. Yeah.
I'm dying.
But yeah, you could. I think they have it as their pinned tweet if you want to get the shirt. It's a super clean shirt. And all the funds for it is going straight to Extra Life. I think right now I put a goal of $100. We're currently at $126, which is fucking rad. And how this fundraiser works, actually, the more we sell, the more money per shirt is raised. So, hey, maybe get some more shirts. And maybe you'll see some cool stuff later on this month. Who knows? But yeah, definitely do it. Extra Life is awesome. Respawn Aim Fire is awesome. Y'all are awesome.
Oh, stop it. I was literally just thinking, I know I mentioned this a little bit on our last show, but I was literally just thinking about, like, do I know a person, like a person who I've met in real life, which you qualify as now, a person I've met in real life who does more good than Dusty Hill? And I can't think of a single person.
Well, I'm sorry.
Sorry for the world, that the world is not a better place.
I'm definitely trying, because that's sometimes all you could do, especially this year. But,
2020. Let's all take a drink. I'm going to pretend this is vodka.
I got squirt.
Don't do it, Chad. Don't do it, Chad. And we've got the dreamiest fan base of all time. Shut up, Chad. Joining us from all over the world. Every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Put us in your ears with your favorite podcast service, or put us in your eyes by searching for Respawn Aim Fire on YouTube. That's right. We've gone into the third dimension with 2D video. And if you want to add the fourth dimension of time, you can do that by watching us record it live on twitch.tv/affableidiots every Sunday night at this time, 9 p.m., as opposed to 8 p.m. Eastern. But it's Resident Evil 4's fault, not anyone else's fault.
That's right. We were doing content at 8. It just wasn't this content.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Today's episode is brought to you by Affable Idiots, which we'll tell you about later on in the episode. That's it for the housekeeping. We have a very exciting episode this week. Even though there's not a lot of news to discuss, I think there's still some good stuff. Like not hearing about Series X at TGS. Woo. Whoa. PS5 backwards compatibility is some questionable stuff's going on there. Whoa. And some other Mario stuff too. But before we get to that, Chad and Dusty both played a brand new game that just came out It's called Barbie Dreamhouse Maker. Guys, do you want to talk
Yes.
about
Fantastic.
Barbie Dreamhouse Maker?
You
Have
slippery
you got
snake.
the pink convertible yet?
Oh my god, I've had the pink convertible. That's the first thing I got.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, but here's what I'm looking to get: the slide at the top of the house that slides down to the front door. I haven't
Yeah,
gotten that for my
really
girl
expensive.
house, my dollhouse.
$3,000 Barbie dollars.
Barbie dollars, get it? Barbie dolls.
Yeah, that was
Barbie
intentional.
dollars. You are so fucking.
That's the
smart.
microtransaction currency.
Yes, we've both been playing Marvel's Avengers.
Yes.
Holden. It is no longer a beta. It's real. It exists. They do exist. Santa M&Ms. Bringing it full circle to Christmas. Marvel's Avengers, Holden, blew my condom off my penis. Like, I was prepared to
Whoa.
go in safe. I was like, I'm gonna take the precautions. I'm making up this analogy as I go, and it's turning out to be pretty great. I was taking the proper precautions. I knew it wasn't going to be the greatest. But I went in there, and it's like, we're going to grip you so tight, we're going to pull that condom off. And it was so good. I have beat the game, in quotes. I've rolled credits on it. So I finished the single-player campaign. But there's still a lot more single-player content for me to do, iconic missions from all the people. Obviously, the majority of the game is the multiplayer content and playing with your friends, doing drop zones and war zones and all that kind of stuff, and leveling up your characters to oblivion. This game surpassed all of my expectations. I feel like every single character in it is somehow, by the end of the single-player campaign, is somehow so well-balanced. Like, they all feel fun to play. I have a text chat going with everyone else who's playing the game, which is all of our friends but you, Holden. And we were all talking about how they all just feel really well balanced, and they all are fun. Like, we were talking, who are we going to main? Who are we going to main? It was like, well, I do like this person, but I also love playing as this person, and this person's great too, and I'll just main all of them. And so I love playing every single character. There were some frustrating times, but they eventually, as you get used to them, you play them more, you upgrade their skills. It is such a grind in the best way possible. It's got that Destiny grind to it where it's all about getting new gear. Mm-hmm. However, there are also huge skill trees to unlock. By the end of the campaign, I'm only maybe 15% of the way unlocking all of these skills. And some of them, like I'm like character level like 8 or 9 with some of my characters, and they're like, this skill doesn't unlock until 50. And I'm like, oh, I can't fucking wait to continually be surprised and try new things in this game. It also, I'm not going to spoil anything about this game or the campaign, but I will say that the last like hour and a half of this game is one of the most successful last hour and a halves of a video game that I've played. There's the usual trope that a lot of games fall into where like they're really, really great, but then they just fall apart at the end because they either throw every enemy that you've ever fought at you and 100 of them at a time, or it's like one really awful, terrible mechanic for a boss that you just don't like doing over and over. But I feel like this one does it in such a great way, and so the ending of this game nails it. I'm just really high on this game right now, and I literally, like, as soon as we get off of this, I'm going to go join Brent, and we're going to play online, because Brent is playing the final mission right now as we speak, and we're just going to fucking goof off and play so much fun shit together.
Oh, yeah.
Saying that, it is the least Holden game I think I've ever played in my life. I think you would absolutely hate it. It is Marvel superheroes. It is a story that is... One of the things getting into the game in the beta, I was like, there's so much here. There's different types of gear. There's different parts of the gear that I don't understand. There are skill trees that I don't understand. There's so much going on. And the 10 to 12 hour campaign is basically just slowly introducing you to all of this so that by the time you get to the end game and all the multiplayer content, you feel competent. So the campaign, while it's good, it's not... it's not Last of Us. It's not this groundbreaking, earth-shattering story. It's a very good story that gets you prepared for the rest of the game.
So you're not contemplating what it means to be evil or good in a world by the end of the story?
There is a little bit of that, actually. There is a little bit of that in there. But then the other part of it is obviously there's a shit ton of skills and things that you can upgrade, and there's a ton of RPG elements. And if you just stick to the fundamentals, you're not going to have fun with this game. So it is the least Holden game that I think I've ever played before, but I am enjoying the shit out of it.
Really quickly, because when I saw you tweet out that you beat the game, I was very surprised because it seems super fast. Because the progress from beta doesn't carry over, right?
Correct.
How long is this campaign, would you say?
It's about 10 to 12 hours. It's
okay. That's a pretty good
10 to
length
12
then. Okay.
hours if you mainline it. Like, as I was telling Dusty right before we started recording, there's a percentage meter of like the solo campaign part. It's like you have done 64% of the campaign. I think after beating it, I was done with like 60%.
Okay.
Because it also includes not just the campaign story, but also you unlocked Iron Man. Have you done all of Iron Man's iconic quests where like you were doing things specific? Think of like Mass Effect 2 missions with your different squad mates, where they're like things focused specifically on those characters.
Totally.
And then there's a bunch of other shit that opens up with like S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that kind of stuff. So while I am done with the campaign, I'm only like 60% of the way through the single player content, and then haven't even touched the multiplayer stuff.
Nice.
Dusty, what have you done with it?
I've only been able to play it since Thursday night because I was like kind of so on it, but then I saw you and then Trevor tweeting about it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fucking get it. It's really fucking good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm actually like I'm a sucker for Marvel stories just because like I love that superhero story and that storyline. I love Kamala Khan's character, Miss Marvel. It's so good, and like honestly, I'm just gonna say like having a non-white protagonist like as a star of the game, fucking fantastic.
I love how it plays into like her costume and stuff like that too, like her outfit, and I love it.
Yeah, but that and like honestly, because I've not played through. I'm only like maybe I think you told me like halfway through the story, but every character I've played as feels so unique. And they all play their own way, and like I'm having a ton of fun with that. Like in the beginning, like you kind of get to explore a little bit like a lot of different characters, and like each one's like okay, like this one's this. Like the Hulk is like slower, but obviously he's a fucking tank and just destroys everything. And then Black Widow is actually like really fun. It's like I really enjoy playing as Black Widow, and then like unlocking all the skills with Miss Marvel and Kamala Khan. That's like really cool because then like. Oh, now I could do this, so I could try to do that, and like, the gameplay is really fun, and then collecting the gear gives me big Destiny vibes, and I'm loving that. As soon as I got that, I'm like, okay, I could upgrade my gear. Oh, this gear's better. Oh, I'm in this for the long haul. But it's really good. I'm enjoying it a lot. I like the story so far. I like how they're treating the characters and how they're they're superhero characters and superhero. Like writing, but it's definitely something that you don't see that often in like superhero shit. But I'm enjoying it a lot. Literally after this, I'm also just gonna like jump on and mainline the story.
Yeah, I think the mission that you just mentioned you wrapped up getting Iron Man and done a couple of things. Yeah. I think that was one of my favorite parts is finally getting Iron Man. That whole mission itself, and I think that Nolan North's Iron Man, his Tony Stark, is perfect. It is the perfect balance of Robert Downey Jr. from the movies and Nathan Drake from Uncharted. And you mash those two together, and he's like so endearing. He's so likable, but he has like the funniest little quips. It's great. It's wonderful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot. I can't wait to play more. And multiplayer, which looks super fun.
I'm so much right now. I'm struggling with like I don't want this to become my new Destiny. I want this to be an addition to Destiny, but I also need to quit my job to do that. But
you could
because I can see how hyped we are all on this game. Like I can see me putting hundreds of hours into this thing. It's
easily.
I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it.
Holden, what have you been playing?
Barbie Dreamhouse Maker. It's fantastic. It's so customizable. It's something that just because we're so hyped all about this game, I think I could play this game for hundreds of hours.
Yeah, I can see that.
No, seriously. So I actually got back into Animal Crossing New Horizons this week. And I'm like,
you swimming?
Digging the hell out of it. No, funniest thing is that, no, I haven't done any of the new summer stuff. I'm literally just back to, this project wanted to do my town last time. Funny thing is, too, is actually totally coincidentally, Dusty's on the podcast for this to hear. Last time Dusty and I played together, I went to his town, and I saw he had this little like kind of, it was like a jazz setup. You had some instruments there, and I had gotten a synthesizer, and I'm like, I know that doesn't quite match, but I don't have a need for a synthesizer, so if you want it, you can have it. So I walked back in my house after months of not playing, and there was my little synthesizer in my living room to remind me to give that to Dusty. So the first thing I did was mail that off to Dusty.
Is it? It's waiting for me? I need to go check.
It's waiting for you, yeah. I kind of figured you probably dropped off Animal Crossing at this point because it'd been so long. But goddamn, it's so enjoyable. I'm now determined to get 5 stars. I've added some windmills to my town, which is good because now we have clean energy and renewable energy in the town, which is very, very good. I made a campsite that's just gorgeous. I just tweaked up some things like with my museum area with the cool waterfall design I had there. I redid like the layout for my house and like the walkway to my house, and it's really starting to come together as like a full complete town as opposed to a nice little suburb area and then like the wilderness of the rest of the island. So I'm hoping I can get 5 stars pretty soon. That's been fun. Then I've been playing Super Mario Odyssey just because of some other stuff, some Mario stuff. I kind of wanted to play some Mario. But we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah.
Dopey Cocoa Puff. God, I'm so hyped. Can we talk about the main quest now? I'm just kidding. We'll save it.
We will be there pretty quickly.
Okay.
There's not a lot of news stories this week. So Fetch Quest, starting off with our Fetch Quest and moving on to the Fetch Quest. Let's start with the Fetch Quest now. First Fetch Quest, say Fetch Quest one more time. CD Projekt Red announces The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt for the next generation. Free upgrade for users who already own the game, says Jordan Biazzo at GameRanks. And you know what, guys? That's exactly how it should be done.
It should.
Screw you, 2K, and screw you, Activision.
Now, does this mean that it's going to be free? It's free upgrade for the next generation. So, like, our kids will get a free copy of Witcher 3 when we die, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
That's really funny. Yeah, it's part of it's part of the estate tax as you pass on. All the excellent games you got. Cloud gaming revenue is reaching $585 million in 2020. Before you get hyped and go, wow, that's a lot of money. This is revenue split between several companies. I'm not going to name all of them because there's a lot of them here. But the point is that even services like Nintendo Switch Online are counted because it's considered a online-based subscription service or some sort of service related to online specifically. So like PlayStation Now there, Apple Arcade is there. Also ones you've never heard of like Parsec or Gameloft plus Blacknut actually is what's supposed to be. So there's a lot there. And Stadia is there as well. So there's basically cloud services aren't making a lot of money right now, which I think kind of makes sense actually.
I was confused by when I looked at this article and I read some of the names. I was like, wait a minute. Some of these aren't cloud services, and they lump them all in together. Like, as you mentioned, Nintendo Online, like you download the game. You're not streaming this. Apple Arcade, you download these games. You're not streaming it. And it's like, why are you lumping these all in together? To make the money seem bigger? I don't know.
And even then, it's not really a big number.
Exactly.
No.
Considering, I think, I don't have a number for like USA, but I think like last week, Europe hit like 21 billion euros of like game related content sold. So like $585 million is like in the couch cushions at that point. Like Nintendo makes like $3 billion per year alone. It's like 585 for cloud gaming in quotations, because obviously, as you just pointed out, there's a caveat to that.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of money, especially when you add in those other services. I was very surprised by that. But there's other cool stuff to talk about. Toby Fox teases, quote, a little something, end quote, for Undertale's 5th anniversary, says Matthew Olson at US Gamer. It's probably not going to be Deltarune, but I do want it to be Deltarune.
It's going to be Megalovania too.
I'm surprised that Undertale's only 5 years old. Mm-hmm. I feel like I was teaching kids at a summer camp several years ago, and we were like trying to figure out music to draw to, and they were all like, play Undertale music. I was like, fine, I played it. But I feel like this has been around forever, but I guess that's crazy to me.
It does feel a lot longer.
We met 5 years ago.
It should be.
I think so, about 5 years ago, right?
7. I've been with the company almost 7 years now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to the store then, like just after I did then. Okay, that's right. Either way, 5 years, not a long time.
Yeah. And Deltarune, isn't the first level of Deltarune out as like a beta he wants people to try or something like that?
Yeah, I have it on my Switch. I haven't played it yet.
Dude, eat it. I haven't played it either.
Either
But I love Undertale.
No Man's... It's a great
haven't
game.
played it.
Oh, Dusty, you should play it. It's fantastic.
I know.
Play it.
Do you know
anything
anything about it?
Yeah, I just being like playing the games that I like. I get a lot of like Undertale crossover. Also, the music's really good, and it's also a big meme. So, like, I know that.
Okay.
But I know kind of the general idea of the game. I haven't seen or watched the gameplay because I do want to play it. I just never got around to it.
It is worth going in with as little information as possible. I went into it knowing too much, and it didn't hurt the experience, but I think it would have been a stronger experience had I not known that stuff. It's a fantastic, really unique game. Highly recommend playing it. Speaking of fantastic, highly unique game, No Man's Sky developer working on a, quote, huge, ambitious new game, says Joe Screbbles at IGN. You know, I think they've learned their lesson. So
They
I'm
couldn't
excited
deliver
to
on
see
the
what they're gonna
first
do.
one, and now they want to make something bigger.
It's going to be
They
Two Man
delivered.
Sky.
Two Man's Sky.
we're gonna push it as Two Man Sky, and it's gonna launch
Yes.
with just one pair of legs, but it'll get to Two Man.
Eventually. It's in the
Marvel's
roadmap.
Avengers PS4 beta was the most downloaded PlayStation beta ever.
Whoa!
In terms of all the consoles, including PC, there were 6 million players in the beta. That is
Damn.
huge.
Yeah,
that more
It's
than
impressive. Have you guys played Avengers? What'd you guys think of it? Let's do that again.
Yeah.
yes, and it's great. Let me tell you about it. I beat the campaign.
Which, hey, that reminds me, Chad.
Yeah.
Do you remember Anthem?
What?
Do you remember Anthem?
Yeah, I remember Anthem. That piece of shit. It's the only physical PS4 game that I have because Trevor insisted we buy it physically for $3 at GameStop, and then I'm going to
was
buy a
there. Yeah, I
digital
remember
only
that.
PS5. So it's going to go in the trash.
You guys had so much fun.
Yep.
Speaking of Animal Crossing, Ethan Gatch at Kotaku's let us know that Biden's campaign brings centrist yard signage to Animal Crossing, which I think is the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard.
That's the wildest line I've heard this week.
It reminds me of when Hillary Clinton was running for president and she had this terrible line where she's like, coding is important. I've heard some people coded the game Pokemon Go, and we need to get people to Pokemon Go to the polls. It was
I remember
so
that.
awful.
It was terrible.
It was really terrible. And this is like on that. Are
But
there
that was
many
peak
children that are
Pokemon
going to be
Go right
voting
then,
for
though.
Joe Biden? Like, I'm very curious. I mean, I'm
Who
an adult.
knows?
I play Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
I guess, like, here's what's weird to me about this. Are they swaying people? Like, are there, like, a lot of, like, Trump supporters that needed to sign in Animal Crossing because Trump supporters play Animal Crossing? And they go, you know, Biden's kind of cool. He plays my games. Trump doesn't play
think-
Animal Crossing.
I think the Venn diagram of people that are Trump supporters and play Animal Crossing is 2 circles. So,
Yes.
so I don't know.
I would really be curious, like, how many, like, is there, like, an Animal Crossing town with a bunch of, like, custom flags that say, like, Make America Great?
Oh my God.
I hate it. I hate it.
Oh, my God. That'd be hilarious.
Can you make a MAGA hat in? Like, can you make hats with?
Yeah,
custom
you
things on
can.
it? Yeah.
You actually
Yeah,
could.
my God.
actually.
But I don't think anyone
no.
would because I like
Yeah.
Jesse said, the 2 circles.
Yeah.
There's no overlap. Final Fantasy 16 speculation rises with potential Twitter accounts. I almost didn't include this story, but then I realized something that was announced this week was also first leaked as Twitter accounts. And that was Super Mario 35th Anniversary. It was first leaked through Twitter accounts just like this. So is it possible that Final Fantasy 16 will be made in the future at some point? 100%. So
There are
It's been
rumors
how many
that it's
years?
also going to be PlayStation exclusive.
that would be interesting. That, I mean, at least timed exclusive, I can see that happening. 'Cause
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 7 is. So why not?
I'm ready. My
Um,
body is ready.
How long has it been? Like 5 years since 15?
Maybe.
Like it's
When
it's
did Final
time.
Fantasy 15 come out? 2016, November 2016.
Wow.
So,
like
almost 4 years.
All right. Well, We're going to move on to request log now and get to the real big juicy stories. We're going to talk about this next story. There's so much to talk about because Microsoft's not going to talk about the Xbox Series X at the TGS Game Awards or Game Festival, whatever the fuck it is. Xbox won't reveal next-gen details at Tokyo Game Show this month, says Hiron Cryer at US Gamer. Before the hype got too large, Microsoft just made an official statement saying that they're not going to share any new information of the Series X. So it will probably be there, but we just won't hear anything new about the console. It specifically means no price, no release date, because that's obviously the thing we all want to know.
The Series S, man. It's already leaked via its own marketing materials and boxes. And how are we going to go? When is Tokyo Game Show? End of the month? How are we going to? I think it's the 22nd or something. How are we going to go all the way to then? 6 weeks before the console comes out, and they're not even going to acknowledge it exists.
Are they going to announce it on their own before the Tokyo Game Show? So it's not going to be at the Tokyo Game Show?
Just fucking do it, man.
And that's the thing, too, is we know that the Series X is coming out in November. They have said that much, which means if they don't have this price announced within the month, we will find out the price within a month range of the release date, roughly speaking. I guess it could be 2 months if it's at the very end of November and it gets announced at the very beginning of October. But still.
It might get to the point where you go to the store and they let you take one home, and then you see a charge show up on your card 3 months later. And that's how you find out how much it costs.
So here is the bet. We're doing Summer Games Bet Fest. Bet.
Hold on. It's Summer Games Bet Fest, where we bet on summer's fucking games. Sorry, I can't find the thing. Oh, here it is. That's right. It's Summer Games Bet Fest, where we take bets on summer's best game fest. Summer Game Fest, summer gaming. The rest are best for bets. Bet.
Yeah, so Summer Games Bet Fest is ending September 30th, or like the end of September. The bet is, will we find out the price before then?
Oh my god.
For either console, Xbox or PlayStation.
It has to be yes, right? It has to be yes.
That's the thing. It should be yes. It should have happened already.
Yes.
So what the hell?
Retailers need to know how many to have on hand, how many to order, how many to ship. They got to know how many go to each store. It is getting too close, y'all. We have to know. We have to have pre-orders.
So you're saying yes?
Yes.
Dusty.
We will know one or both.
I'm gonna say no, because honestly, I feel like with how everything has been impacted, because they want to keep saying like they're still going to release it on schedule, but how production impacted across the world because of COVID and everything underlying with that, it's going to maybe be like a very tight like Wii launch where there's going to be maybe a quarter of the demand available, and we'll find out. I bet we're going to find out like October 7th or some shit, the first week of October or mid-October, honestly, before anything.
But here's what
and it's going to be like a tweet.
We can't have it so close that like people can't prepare, they can't order it online and have it shipped in time. Like in COVID times, we cannot have people waiting in crowds at Walmart overnight.
Yeah,
for consoles.
That's a great point. I hadn't even considered that. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
The lines are already long. A social distance line would literally be 6 times longer than normal.
Yeah, for real.
But we all know in certain states it might even be shorter than the normal line.
Yeah.
The best way to prevent COVID is to breathe down the neck of the person in front of you. It's the only way to prevent it.
I think, and Chad, I think that you're right. We can't, but I think that's not like, we can't, but we will. Because I feel like it's 2020's motto. We can't, but we will.
I feel like PlayStation was one of the very first companies to just say, hey, we're not going to shit in 2020. Like, it was not the E3 thing, but they were the first to pull out of, I think it was PAX East. And they're like, hey, guys, we're not in PAX East. And then the mayor of Boston was like, no, please come to PAX East.
That was the stupidest thing. That was awful.
So I think they're going to take the right precautions, and they're going to make sure these things are available to ship. They're doing it direct from PlayStation in a piss poor way right now, but they're doing it like that way for the first time. I think them, and I think Microsoft is a responsible enough company that they're going to try to make it work as well with retailers.
So in terms of my bet here, I really don't know. So I'm going to say no, because if Microsoft is making a statement saying we're not going to have any new information at this event at the end of the month. I feel like they wouldn't have made that statement if they had plans to talk about stuff in between now and that event. They would have just let. So I feel like it's going to be in October. But I agree with you, Chad, that like I want to say yes because they should. It's so close to launch, and especially with COVID and people who have had some financial issues this year just because of COVID and losing their job or whatever like people are going through because that's affecting a lot of people in that way. Don't you want to let people know further in advance what this price is going to be? Like this game of chicken for who's going to reveal the price first. Who is it really benefiting besides Microsoft and Sony? They know what their prices are going to be. They know. They have to know at this point. They're so close to manufacturing these things. They are manufacturing these things now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying no, but I'm not happy about saying no.
I don't like my answer, but I'm going to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any more thoughts about Tokyo Game Show and Xbox Series X?
Nope.
No? All right. We're going to move on to some more awesome news. From the Sony Quest log, PS5 backward compatibility doesn't extend to the PS1, PS2, and PS3 games, says Chandler Wood at PlayStation Lifestyle. So there was a Ubisoft support page that accidentally just blatantly said, in plain old English, no interpretation, backwards compatibility only for PS4 games, and there's no support for PS1, 2, and 3 on PS5. However, Ubisoft just went ahead and removed any mention of that off of the page. I'm sure it's not because it's not true, but because Sony didn't want them to reveal that. That's my take, at least. But I'm curious how you guys feel.
I'm still not completely losing hope on that kind of backwards compatibility for two reasons. One is because we've seen that the processor has 3 different modes on it, and the assumption is that those are for emulating different generations of consoles. But also, there's the leak from the developer about what the PlayStation UI would look like, which, by the way, like we were supposed to have that reveal in August because they were supposed to leak, or they were supposed to give the final build of the UI to developers, and they didn't want it to leak. That's a whole other thing that we haven't seen. But there was that leak that said there are 2 parts of the UI that they wanted us to leave with question marks that they haven't filled in yet. And I'm still holding out hope that like those parts of the UI are for emulating older games. Like this will switch it into PS3 mode, or this will switch it into backwards compatibility mode. So there are obviously things about the PlayStation hardware and software that they have not announced yet that are features or capabilities, and I'm hoping this is one of them, and that they simply asked Ubisoft to take it down because either maybe it was false, or maybe it doesn't quite, maybe it's something that even Ubisoft as a developer doesn't know because PlayStation said hold these as question marks.
Yeah, I feel like they have to have PlayStation 1, 2, 3 support in there, but maybe they're going to try to do it through PlayStation Now as opposed to local, like running on the processor. Because I think that the 3 modes, and maybe this is a rumor, not the official statement, which at this point, the lines are so blurred at this point. I think it was supposed to be like PS5, obviously, and then PS4 Pro, and then PS4 are the 3 different modes. And so like some games that don't support PS4 Pro style like upgrades and stuff, they can run on the PS4 side of it. And since things are a little bit different on the PS4, they kind of have a shared, they have like a similar mode between the two, but it's technically still a different mode. The challenge with the PS3 is the cell architecture and in replicating that. So I feel like they could do that with cloud servers and literally having PS3s running it off of a server, because that's how they did PlayStation Now when it first came out.
Right.
But I think PS2 and PS1, they can emulate that raw on the box itself. I mean, you're trying to tell me a 5th generation console with 10 teraflops of performance can't handle a PS2 game? Bullshit. I don't believe that for a second.
I could emulate on my 1999 E-machines a PlayStation 1. Download ROMs for that. Tell me I can't. The Dreamcast could play, if you burned it to a GDR, you could play PlayStation 1 games on it. Tell me a PS5 can't do that?
It's the SSD. It just runs it too fast.
The whole game's over in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Everything be running 300% speed.
I think they have to. I think it'd be a letdown if they didn't have backwards compatibility that far. It's one of the biggest letdowns on the Switch that there's so many games that you can't play from their backlog. That's important to people nowadays. People are used to, like with movies, streaming services where they can just go and find stuff from that's old and stream it down, or it just doesn't exist with games, and Microsoft has made that such a big push, and I think people care about that now more than ever. Not more than anything else, but more than they have in the past. They have to.
I concur.
I would see why they wouldn't, like, honestly. And that's a big selling point as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
especially, it's more of a benefit for PlayStation anyway. They have a better backlog than Xbox, obviously. No question.
Sure. Get rid of all their PS4 games.
Speaking of other stories that are not at all frustrating, moving on to the third-party quest log, Epic Games asks court once more to reinstate Fortnite to Apple's App Store after daily iOS players dropped by over 60%, says Adam Bankhurst at IGN. The titles basically says it all, but Epic is trying to get Fortnite back in the App Store again because it's doing harm for their business to not have it on the App Store. Quote from the article here: daily active users on iOS have declined by 60% since Fortnite's removal from the App Store. Out of Fortnite's 350 million players, 116 are on iOS. That was really surprising to me.
That was the one big thing that surprised me, yeah.
Yeah. And Epic is worried they might, quote, never see these users again. Whose fault is that? Jeez, I can't imagine whose.
Yep. So this is to bring it back to the shitting on the living room floor analogy. Epic comes in, takes a shit on the living room floor in Apple's house, and Apple says, "You have to get out of my house." And they're like, "What? Yeah, you shit on my floor. That's not cool, man. Part of the rules of my house is you don't shit on the floor." And now they're saying, "Hey, now that I've shit on your floor, some of my kids are disowning me because they saw me shitting on the floor, and they're like, 'That's fucking gross, Dad.'" And Apple is like, "Dude, you did that. You're the reason your kids are looking at you and thinking you're gross." And they're asking the judge to say, "Make Apple let me back into their house because all of my kids are leaving me." But I honestly 100% don't think that they're going to be allowed back on the App Store again without just reconforming to the rules.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dumb.
And their developer account is gone. So they have to wait a year before they can even get back on the App Store again at this point anyway. Like,
I bet they have some sway. Like, even Apple said we're welcoming, ready to welcome them back if they adhere to our rules.
It's either way. Considering the email that Tim Sweeney himself released on Twitter that says, "We are going to break your rules, Apple. Get ready." I'm just like, did they not? Like, this makes me think they didn't think that would backfire and that they would get their way. Like, they're like, "Oh no, we're losing these customers. Don't use your customers as a political pawn." How about that? Like, this drives. You were kind of saying last time we talked about this, Chad, that, you know, and I totally felt this with you. I had so much respect for Epic for saying, "Hey, we're making this money with Fortnite. We're going to give back to the community. We're going to try to change things in the best way possible." I'm like, awesome. I had so much respect for them, and gone. I have no respect for Epic at this point. I think what they're doing is unbelievably shitty, and it drives me nuts. I mean, we've talked about this for like 3 weeks at this point, but it's this, like, when I saw this, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Ugh.
Yeah, it's really dumb. I've been listening along to like the past couple episodes, and like I would say about like at first, like especially with them giving more money to developers, because like that's awesome, especially for gaming companies, and like how Steam had this thing where people get less money, and now Epic was like doing that. That was awesome, but at this point, like it's like I don't know, it's really silly and dumb. Like, it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna be the person that's running everything now. Oh wait, I'm not running everything. Oh shit, I tripped, and like now it's my own fault. it's like that comic of the guy on the bike riding
the stick in the wheel,
sticking the spokes, and just like fucking Apple. That's what it feels like.
Perfectly summed up.
I think I've gone to Tim Sweeney. When I was reading the story, I'm like, let me just go to Tim Sweeney's Twitter account and just like see what he says about this. He hasn't said anything about this, but he posted this tweet, which is so, to me, massively hypocritical, where he's like, even Apple doesn't pay their 30% cut. It's like, yeah, no shit. You don't pay your 12% cut for your games on the Epic Games Store. Like, why are you shocked by this? Does Nintendo charge themselves a 30% fee to put Mario on their own app store? Like, no, this is just like how it works. It's a natural consequence of having your own platform. It's just, I don't know. The whole thing is baffling, but I don't know. I feel like everything that can be said has been said until September 28th when they reconvene in court and the next things happen. I'm extremely curious how this case rolls out. I thought it was going to get dropped, and it didn't. So it's going to progress in some way. We'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
To be continued.
TBD.
In the meantime, we have a wonderful ad read for you. I'd like to tell you a bit about Affable Idiots. Affable Idiots is the new brand under which our products and podcasts will live, like Respawning Fire. You actually might have heard of that one. You're listening to it right now. Our new off-color Mr. Rogers type show called AAWI and Also With You, and much more to come, including The Grind, which by the time this episode comes out will be out, so look forward to that. Video versions of our podcasts are only the first of many amazing things we're bringing you this spring, and we need your support. First, the easiest...
We gotta edit this.
I keep editing some parts of it and then miss things like that. But we get the gist. Look forward to it in spring 2020. First, the easiest and freest thing you can do for us right now is go subscribe to 3 YouTube channels. This channel, Respawning Fire, our parent channel, Affable Idiots, and our sister podcast, AAWI and Also With You. Links to these are in the description below, and we'll need 100 subscribers for each in order to have a custom YouTube URL with our name in it, like youtube.com/respawningfire. But you can't go there yet because we don't have those subscribers yet. So you better subscribe because you love us.
Or else.
No, just because they love us. We're not going to threaten them. Love works great if you threaten. So yeah, let's threaten them. You can also do us more good than you know by leaving us a sweet and sexy review. If you just need to be sweet, that's cool. Sweet and sexy is great, or just sexy. It's all good.
Just
but
put
leave a
in
review over on
boobs.
over on every podcast service you listen to us on, and to even those you don't. Stars are great, and we want them all, but words of affirmation are the Affable Idiots' love language, which is a language of intimidation and threats. To be very clear.
With affirmation.
Yes. So feel free to drop us a message in there too. Finally, Respawning Fire has a Patreon over at patreon.com/Respawning Fire. If you want to support us, $1 gets you playtime with us each week, influence over what we play for Barf each month, which next 2 months is going to be Horizon Zero Dawn, and super cool, sexy wallpapers for your electronic super computers. Chad just made a super cool, sexy Avengers one. I don't even like Avengers, but I gotta admit, that was a pretty sexy wallpaper. It was very, very nice.
Thanks.
Very nice. So that's all the ad read stuff, all the goodness. And now we're gonna get some Mario stuff now. Let's talk about Mario. So Super Mario Bros. 35th Anniversary Direct, Nintendo YouTube. By the way, was this announced ahead of time? Because I just woke up and you guys were texting about it.
I don't think so.
No
No,
idea.
it was just released.
That's so dope. I love that. I'm just going to run through all of the announcements, and we'll just end up talking about 2 of them, because I don't think we're going to talk about all of these. First one was
Can
Game
we
&
talk
Watch,
about them as you go rather than waiting for the recap?
Do you want to do it that way?
Hell yeah.
All right, cool. First one is Game & Watch Super Mario Bros. It's basically a little Game & Watch, like limited edition, kind of like the NES and the SNES classics that came out. It includes the Lost Levels, the original game, Game & Watch Ball, very exciting. More exciting than that, a clock.
A clock.
Oh, shit.
Spider, ew.
Ew.
A spider in every box?
No, spider just right next to me in every box. We couldn't get rid of the spiders in the factory, so it's just a feature. And there's so much more. It's coming November 13th in again in a limited production.
I have never played a Game & Watch. I don't have any affinity for it. Whatever. I mean, are there people out there our age who have played Game & Watch before?
I mean, probably if they're a big nerd.
Big old
Yeah.
nerds. Big old fucking nerds.
It looks cool. I'm probably not going to pick it up.
Yeah,
I don't like Mario that much.
They're not cool. They're just not. I played one. When I was God, this was back in the 90s. I played a Nintendo VR or Virtual Boy, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I played a Game & Watch then. And both of them I had the same experience, which was, I like my current Nintendo stuff, and I don't need to do any of this bullshit. I feel like they should have just done like a limited edition Game Boy thing instead and packed it with a bunch of Mario games. Yeah, like that would have been way cooler.
But this is specifically Super Mario Bros. Themed stuff. Like Game Boy Classic would have had to been much more than that.
Oh yeah, we've had at least Pokemon.
Then you say it's the Super Mario Bros. 35th Anniversary Direct plus one more thing. Plus. I just I hear you. Yeah, it's Mario themed. It fits with the 35th anniversary. You're totally right. Is this exciting? This is going to be probably the least hype on one of these classic Nintendo systems. I feel like this will sell better than PlayStation Classic, of course, but nowhere near the NES and the SNES Classic. Is the hype there for this? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it's limited production. I think they know that not a lot of people are going to want this.
Yeah.
I do need
but
a
for
clock,
the 7 people that do, you'll be able to get it at GameStop, no problem. They'll have overstock.
But you can't buy it unless you also buy $45,000 worth of other goods bundled in with it.
Yeah, you get a bag for $5.
You got to get a case for it. You've got to get any other accessory you could
12
get.
12 Funko Pops, a third-party Bluetooth controller for it.
and Post-it notes.
And Post-it notes with Mario on them. And don't forget those limited edition Mario coins that came with that cool coin collector that no one
that
bought.
would actually be cool. That sounds kind of cool, actually.
Physical
that was
money?
the thing
Ugh.
that no one bought. I guarantee you, the GameStop I used to work at, we had one for 4 years.
The next thing announced, the next thing announced was Super Mario 3D World Plus Bowser's Fury, and that's coming February 12th, 2021. It's Super Mario 3D World port. We don't really know what Bowser's Fury is yet.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is that something that was already announced, or because it was not explained at all in the trailer? It was just
Is it a port or is it a sequel?
It's a port, and then they're adding new content to it.
See, but the thing like Bowser's Fury, I thought that was like a new game. So then, I have no fucking clue what Bowser's Fury is.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like a 6-hour full experience. It's not full, but a kind of shorter whatever we think Miles Morales kind of thing is, where it's a little bit extra, and then also the whole game. Whatever, maybe that's how it turns out.
I'm excited. This is the first
this,
3D Mario that I don't think that I've. I mean, it counts as a 3D Mario, right? Kind of.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it says 3D in the name, so
yeah, but sort of Super Mario 3D Land, and that's not a 3D Mario.
That is absolutely a 3D Mario.
Not in the Super Mario 64 Sunshine kind of trend.
3D World is a direct sequel and a continuation of the style of 3D Land.
Then they are not 3D Mario in my eyes. They are lesser stepchildren.
No, they are seriously a ton of fun and really underrated Mario games. I'm very excited.
I love 3D Land on 3DS. Yeah, so I'm excited to do 3D World. I just hate that the cat is the mascot. I'm not a cat person.
No, the cat powers are pretty dope.
Everything's all that. They even released new Cat Peach and Cat Mario amiibo, and I'm just like, really? Do we have to have cats on everything in this game? Everywhere you go is a fucking cat, and you're gonna scratch your way up a fucking scratchy paw.
You're gonna love the cat. I'm just saying you're gonna love the cat.
Oh, whatever. But no, I am excited for this game. And it is the week of my birthday, my Geburtstag.
Ooh.
Nice.
Super Mario Bros. 35, which is essentially Tetris 99, but for Super Mario Bros. When you defeat enemies, it sends it to other players' games, and then it's just included with Switch Online. And it's going to be available until March 31st. Then it's gone forever until they decide to bring it back.
Mm-hmm. This is something I had literally could have never predicted this coming out. Mm-hmm. One, because it requires online service. Two, it's such a weird, cool imagining of a weird take on Super Mario Bros. Having that, I go through the level, and as I kill a Koopa, it sends a Koopa to somebody else's level to fuck them up. And it's what a cool twist on that to kind of celebrate Mario.
I think someone actually, so this was actually done by a third party, I don't remember when, but it was a while ago, and Nintendo took it down. And so I guess they took it down because they liked it so much and they made it their own.
Huh.
But I remember seeing something on this, I can't remember when, because it was up for a very short period of time.
The thing I'm not on board with is the the artificial hype and demand that they are forcing on you by making it temporarily available. Like, we'll get to this later with the 3D All-Stars as well, but like, why? Why do I have to buy a Switch and play it before March 31st? If I buy a Switch in April, for some reason, my money's not good enough to also play this game. Like, there's no reason for you to take this game down after 5 months.
Really easy explanation. On March 31st, it's gone. And then April 1st, they go, April Fools, it's available forever.
They got us.
That's what it is.
Hilarious.
That's what it is. Yeah, we will talk about that later. But before we talk about that, Mario Kart Home Circuit. It's AR Mario Kart. You're going to have physical Mario Kart toys. You set up a track. You drive your, like, whatever kart you have to make the track, and then you can play it in AR. And it looks like it's... I don't know if it's a full Mario Kart game in terms of like all the items, that kind of stuff, but it plays just like Mario Kart, except it's using physical cards. Chad, I know you were pretty hyped on this one.
Yeah, this is 100%. Like, when we showed this to my niece and nephews, they were like, I am definitely putting that on my Christmas list. I was like, bitch, you're getting that before Christmas. I'm going to get it for you. No, it looks awesome. Right now they only have a Mario and a Luigi cart, but if they come out with like a Princess Peach, I'm sure they can continue releasing carts for this and they're going to sell like crazy. But
Absolutely.
it looks really cool. And you can build your own tracks like you mentioned throughout. Like it'll automatically detect things and kind of like make a track for you, it looks like. Or it comes with, I think it's 5 little posts for you to go through, or I don't know, banners for you to go under to create a track as well. But it looks really cool, and it looks, I'm sure there's some post-production video editing going on in there, but it looks pretty seamless and good for the augmented reality.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times with AR, you have trouble with, like, anchoring things, and they're kind of, like, floating in space and slightly moving as your car goes, but everything looked solid. I think this is going to sell a lot this Christmas.
Absolutely.
And they didn't announce a release date for it, but actually, maybe it's October. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really cool. It's one of those things that you're right. It's going to sell a shit ton because it has a physical thing, and everyone, for like toys that connect to games, everyone loves that. That's why amiibos are so popular. They're just amiibos on wheels.
It's coming out October 16th.
October 16th. Hell yeah.
Not that far away. Yeah, this one's things where I think it's really cool. I'm not going to get it just because I'm good playing Mario Kart on my Switch as it is right now. I'm also 27. Like, I'm good. But my brothers, I think, would like this a lot. And I just think, like, if I were a kid, I would have been all over this. This is a really, really dope idea. I'm very curious the price. I'm sure those carts are not going to be cheap considering they have AR cameras built into them. But it's still a fun time. I think it's a clever idea. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that pans out. The fun stuff hasn't even begun yet. We haven't talked about the biggest announcement yet for the entire event, and that's that there's also going to be Mario pins.
I got mine coming. I did all the challenges. I got mine.
There's going to be a Mario Kart Tour special event, and I'm sure that will still entice nobody to play that game. There's going to be Mario 35th merch available online and at the Nintendo store in New York City. So if you happen to be in New York City, you can get it there. Or if you're a normal human being avoiding everything because of COVID, you can get it online.
Yes.
There's going to be a Splatfest in January that's Mario related. I think it's like Mushrooms versus Stars, which sounds cool. Super Mario themed Animal Crossing furniture.
Oh, I didn't see that.
This makes sense. In Animal Crossing New Leaf, you could get these fortune cookies, and the fortune cookies would give you specific Nintendo-themed furniture. So, like, you can get the Master Sword and the pedestal. You could get, like, a replica of Samus's ship that could just, like, be in your house. And they just didn't show up in Animal Crossing New Horizons. And everyone's like, why? That would have been so great. Makes sense now, because they can do events that are related to those Super Mario or Zelda next year. So that's cool. There's going to be clothing, board games, Lego sets. Let's get to the really good stuff now. Super Mario All-Stars 2D is coming to the SNES Classic, not NES Classic, the SNES collection on Nintendo Switch Online. That's great. But the rumors have been confirmed. Super Mario 3D All-Stars is real. It has Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. Those are the only 3 3D Mario games that were released. No other ones exist outside of 3D World. None at all. It's coming out September 18th, which is really soon.
Like next week.
But it's no longer available as of March 31st, 2021, unless they are playing an April Fool's joke on us, which I'm sure they will do. Not widescreen and improved resolution are kind of the main reasons the main like upgrades. There's also a music player mode. Chad, you seemed bummed about something here, but before you talk, is Dusty. I've always started with you, so Dusty, you go first. What is your thoughts on this?
I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. It's something I actually haven't played Sunshine at all because I didn't have a GameCube, and I didn't play Galaxy because I didn't have a Wii. And I played a little bit of 64 like on the DS back then, so I'm excited about this. I actually want to play them a lot especially because like I got super into watching people do speed runs of 64. I'm like, I could do that. I could probably do that, like sometimes maybe. And then getting a chance to play the other two, and it comes out like in 2 weeks. It's perfect. Like I'm probably gonna be playing that a lot.
Oh yeah.
I am excited, a little disappointed, mostly very hyped. Very, very hyped. It's coming so soon, which is, I think, I had no idea that it was coming, and I'm very happy. In Nintendo fashion, it's not remade. Like, these games aren't remade. It's just, like, up-resed for HD, which is totally fine. Like, Super Mario 64 is going to look blocky and clunky and gross as hell for everyone, but it's going to not look like also trash from the resolution and stuff on your TV, which is great. I've never played Sunshine before, so I'm going to experience that for the first time, which is awesome. And then I love Galaxy, but I'm also super bummed that Galaxy 2 got the bucket. And that's not a saying. People don't get the bucket. That it wasn't included.
Yeah.
So I think Galaxy 2 should definitely be included, which is a shame. But I wonder if they have other plans for that, or maybe it's coming at a later date. Again, March 31st, 2021, you suddenly can't buy these games anymore, digitally or physically? That's so stupid. Here's why. You want to know why?
Limited time.
There are, basically, it wasn't confirmed by Nintendo, but there are a bunch of leaks saying that a new model of the Switch is coming out with 4K, blah, blah. We talked about this last week. How much you want to bet shortly after March 31st that console gets announced? And now anyone who wants a Switch but was waiting for one is going to buy one so they have a chance to buy all the really great Mario games. And then they're going to get you with the gotcha and be like, oh, you bought one Switch? Now buy a second!
That'd be really shitty, but I can see that.
That's
I
exactly
can see that
what's gonna
happening.
happen. That's exactly what's going to
I
happen.
bet you they'll do a bundle with it, so it won't be able to be sold on its own. But you get the new Switch with all the Mario games in the Mario-themed Switch Plus, or the Switch Up.
Switch up. Ooh, Switchblade.
That's a Xenoblade edition.
Now, I'm very, very excited about this. I even, for a split second, thought about, what if every month we play a new Mario game, as like we all play Super Mario 64, and then the next month we play Sunshine, and the next month it's Galaxy, and then the next month is Odyssey, and then by then 3D World will be out, and we play 3D World, and then I was like, but we also already have barf games to play, and also PS5 is coming out, and there's a lot of shit to play.
Is there?
Allegedly.
#Godfall.
Allegedly.
#Miles Morales. #Destiny. #Marvel's Avengers. Both of which are getting upgrades for PS5. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff to play, Holden. So, yeah, I'm pumped. I'm going to play them all for sure.
I'm super pumped as well. I've Sunshine, like Metroid Prime, is a game that I had on my GameCube, but I was just like I didn't play as much video games when I was younger, and I was really bad at them, so I never beat Sunshine. And I can't wait to go back and like actually beat that game because I loved Sunshine. It's just a really, really fun, unique setting for the Mario franchise, and I have a lot of happy memories exploring that world and just jumping around. I remember just being in the main like Isle Delfino area, pretending as a superhero Mario character, running around and just running on rooftops and shit, parkouring everywhere. Even back then, I parkoured everywhere.
Parkour nonstop.
Parkour.
So I'm super pumped for Sunshine and getting to finally finish that game. 64, yeah, I've always kind of been like lukewarm on 64. Nintendo 64 in general, to be honest. So like I'm kind of whatever on that. I'll play it still because I think this is probably going to be the best way to play it. But Galaxy, man, I've never played Galaxy. I'm so pumped to play Galaxy. Can't wait for that shit. The September 31st part, I think I tried to like see this from Nintendo's perspective, And even though it's not like a full remake like Resident Evil 2 remake, been a lot of memes about that. And look at the difference, 1998 Resident Evil 2 to what it is now. And obviously it's just like a higher resolution for Mario, and it looks crisper for sure. And I think it does look better, but it's not nearly on the Resident Evil 2 level, or Crash Bandicoot, or the Spyro remakes. But I think Nintendo still sees it as, well, these games are all worth $60. So to bundle it all together is such a deal. We couldn't possibly let this be available at all time. It would cheapen our brand, which is stupid. But I can totally see them seeing it that way. I think it also makes it more an event, which is kind of exciting, but it does kind of come at the cost of being nice to consumers. So it's kind of crummy, but it's one of those things where it doesn't really impact me because I'm going to get it anyway.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, pretty much.
here's the thing, though. Here's what makes me so excited about this. Next year, Zelda's 35th anniversary, and we haven't gotten Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD on Switch yet. Could we get a 3D Zelda collection where they have Ocarina of Time, they completely ignore Majora's Mask because that game apparently doesn't exist, just like Galaxy 2 doesn't exist, and then they do Wind Waker and Twilight
You
Princess.
haven't even beat Majora's Mask, you fake fan.
I still really want to, I just haven't. And I am, oh my god, I'd be so insanely pumped for that. And then if they do the same thing with the Super Mario All-Stars 2D coming to SNES collection, if they bring all the 2D Zelda games to Switch somehow, it is officially the greatest device I've ever held in my hands ever. I'm going to lock myself inside. Even if COVID is completely eradicated by the time it comes out, I will quarantine until I beat all of them all over again. I'm excited for that. And that's like, as excited as I am for Super Mario 3D Land, I got more excited for Zelda next year in a hypothetical scenario that's completely my imagination
Oh no.
than anything else.
What a good little Nintendo Direct.
Yeah. It was good. They needed that.
They needed
that.
It reminds me of Kevin on The Office that time. Where he's just, I forget what it's about, but he's sitting there doing the interview and he's like, sometimes it feels good to win one. He's like, oh, Kevin.
Well, that is the main quest. Chad?
Before we leave, we've got a game on game show. The game on our gaming show where we play a game called Game On, our game show, and we can play a game. We have a brand new game, never before played, never before seen, never before heard. Underwear.
Terrible.
Are you ready, Dusty and Holden, for a game called Your Life in Games by Milton Bradley? Copyright Chad Ennis, copyright Wayne Gretzky.
Maybe.
This game is simple. It's not a game. It's just a discussion.
Perfect.
I have three things. I want you to choose a game that you would like in a hypothetical scenario. Choose a game that you would like to represent your ideal version of blank. I have 3 blanks for us. So, for instance, a game that represents your ideal version of if you were a good gardener or of your hobby. Oh, I would pick Pikmin. I would love to be able to blah, 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 and I want that to represent my ideal version of myself while I'm gardening. For our first one, I want you to choose a game that you'd like to represent your ideal job.
Okay. This is easy because it's
for it.
kind of a massive cheat. I'm going to school to study programming, and there is a game called Game Dev Story that is very addictive and fun, where you run a game studio and you make games. That would be a fun job. Is that cheating? Because it sounds like a real job.
Nope, that totally works.
It's made by Cariosoft, by the way. Cariosoft? Yeah, Cariosoft.
I think it's Cairo.
Really fun. Is it Kairosoft?
I think it's Cairosoft, yeah.
Okay.
Like Cairo. Egypt.
It's so much fun. I highly recommend it. It's on Switch. It's on mobile. You'll find it. It's great.
That one, I could think of a couple things. I mean, honestly, the first thing that came to mind would be like the cooking job in Job Simulator. Because I love cooking and would love to do it for like a living. But the other thing would be like, honestly, like Guitar Hero. Because I love I'm not good at making music, but I like making music. And so being a Guitar Hero rock star with the plastic guitar. That would be ideal for me.
I love it. I would choose the game that represents my ideal job. I'm going to choose Concrete Genie. It's the PS4 game that came out last year, and it's all about you through art making other people smile, making the world light up, making people laugh, doing good, conquering bullies. Like that's what I think about, like the way that I use social media and things like that. And every time before I post something, I'm like, is this going to be funny? Is this going to make people smile? Is this going to piss anybody off? If it is, I'm not going to post it. If it's happy, if it's going to, like, that's the kind of, I want to put that out in the world. And also it's artistic. And so using that kind of skill.
That's a good one.
2 more. Choose a game that you'd like to represent your ideal home life. What do you want your home life to be in video game terms?
This is so easy.
I know it is for
Animal
you.
Crossing.
GTA. Yeah. GTA. You just want hookers nonstop, getting shot, chased by the cops.
It's not untrue. That's the exact reason I'm choosing Animal Crossing, because it has all those things and so much more.
And so much more.
So much more. No, Animal Crossing, because, like, geez, I would love for my, like, home life to just be this relaxing island that I can customize to my, you know, my own wishes of, like, yeah, I'll put a tree there. I'll just, you know, plant some, like, I wouldn't mind gardening if it wasn't work, but if I could just, like, walk up and just, like, say plant and then put, you know, flower in the ground. Perfect. I love it. It's relaxing. It's peaceful. Everyone's nice and sweet. That's what I want. It'd be great. Or Hitman.
I mean, honestly, like, I would probably say Animal Crossing as well, just because, like, just being able to, one, afford a house, and have it be in a place where there's no extreme heat, and not have to worry about, like, actually, like, having to work for a living, and just like vibing and keeping it chill on my own island with, like, just my best animal bros. I'll be chill. I'd be cool with that.
I feel like
the
your
only other
answer
thing I
is,
think it was like Minecraft.
I feel like your answer is very much affected by this California heat wave right now.
Yes, it is 100% affected. It is 7:03 and it's currently 90 degrees. So,
oh, I hate it.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Thanks, I hate it. Oh, what would I want? You know what? This is not a cop-out, but I couldn't think of anything else. I want it to be like the Avengers game. I want to live on a ship with a lot of really cool people who do really fucking awesome things, and we all do stuff together, but then we come back, and we all have rooms that are, like, right next to each other, like a dorm in college, and we have common areas. We can all eat lunch together, and then we can also all, like, go shoot bad guys together. Like, that's what I want my home life to be. I want to have my greatest friends and allies, like, right across the hall. I can be like, yo, what up? You want to go punch a robot and then come back and, like, play cards?
That would be so fun. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Choose a game that you would like to represent your ideal sex life. Wouldn't be me
Not
if I didn't make it dirty. You don't want hot coffee?
I honestly can't think of a video game that would match. I don't know. I don't really have an example for that one.
Chad, you go first because you had something in mind when you created this game, probably.
I didn't, but right now the first thing that comes to mind is Mario Party. We get together, we pull something out of a hat and says, all right, today we're pumping a fire hydrant to try to fill up a balloon. Let's go. Let's try that out.
You know what?
It's a team event. Let's call over your friend.
In that vein, what about Jackbox Party Pack?
Oh, there you go. Jackbox Party Pack. And along the way, some of our friends die.
But, you know,
until there's one
connected.
person that wins
we're all
sex
together.
at the end.
We all have our phones.
That's important. Having your phones while you're having sex.
Holden.
Ratchet and Clank. Lots of fun contraptions.
Oh, that's a
No
technology.
example for
I got
this. I have no examples.
That's great. You can use a gun that turns your partner into a goat. And you're like, all right, this gets me going.
Truly the GOAT.
Oh, man. Well, that's it for our very first edition of Your Life in Games by Milton Bradley. Copyright Chad Innes. Copyright Wayne Gretzky. And that's it for Game on Game Show. And that's it for episode 177. It's been a ride. Gonna take you for a ride. Marvel's vs. Capcom 2. You're welcome. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Reminder for a few things. Go to patreon.com/respawnaimfire. Get that dope new Avengers wallpaper. Play Horizon Zero Dawn 1. I was almost going to say 2. But no, it's the first one. Play Horizon Zero Dawn through the month of September and October.
Go to Guerrilla Games. Steal one of their boxes there.
Yeah, for us.
No one's at Guerrilla Games. They're all working from home.
Then go to find one of their homes.
No, I mean, you can get into Guerrilla Games and not get caught. I'm sure they have a server there somewhere with the game on it.
Probably.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Let's get a USB drive.
That's exactly right. And then go check out all of our friend Dusty's stuff. Dusty, I'm going to let you plug it again. Tell us all about Shouting in Place.
Yeah, again, Shouting in Place podcast. The thing is, lets you shout into the void, knowing nothing, shout back. I say that because each episode there's a thing where we shout into the void and it's literally shout into a jar. And let that cathartic release go. Let yourself feel better. Every time I record that, and I get to do that part, honestly, I do feel better after like screaming into a jar, as silly as that sounds, because it is silly. And honestly, like you do that screaming and then you start laughing and you laugh. And like, even if you're having a shitty day, that helps. Can't tell you how many times someone like has told me that even while recording, and it's great. And if you're listening, you get to shout along. Just like I said, if you're with people, let them know so they're not concerned for your safety. But yeah, do it. We had some awesome things. I'm part of I haven't actually mentioned this. I'm part of an actual play podcast now for like tabletop role-playing games called Tabletop Roulette. I had a couple people from that series on to talk. One's Tricky, one's Reed. They're really awesome people. A couple weeks ago, I had Trevor, guest host, because I had internet issues.
We know him.
Yeah, Trevor Bettis, awesome person. From Difficulty Class, he guest hosted with another person named Dusty Wetters. So there's also a Dusty on that podcast. That was good. Check it out. It's fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to these people. You can find it on most things at just Shouting in Place. You can follow the Twitter at Shouting in Place. You could send me an email at shoutinginplace@gmail.com if you want. I don't know. But yeah, also check out the fundraiser because we're doing awesome things and we have some really sexy shirts that Chad made.
Hell yeah. That's right. Our pinned tweet for Extra Life.
Yeah.
Go get yourself our first Respawn Aimfire shirt and merchandise. You only have till the end of September to get it. I also briefly want to mention to you that while you were saying all of that, there was a screenshot in the background of Cyberpunk 2077, and there were subtitles on whatever cinematic that I grabbed that screenshot from, and it said, "Well, shit, sit down." And it's now my new favorite meme of you talking about Shouting in Place with the subtitle, with the text reading, "Well, shit, sit down."
I just saw that. That's beautiful.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to us. Go check us out everywhere else. Go check out Shouting in Place. Go contribute to the Extra Life fundraiser. Just had a stroke there. Extra Life fundraiser. Until next week, here's our usual sign off. Gonna take you for a ride. Ba-da-ba-da.